Bonsoir, everyone. It's a beautiful night here in Paris. As the moon rises, the sun sets, the buildings start looking beautiful under the twilight glow. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let's walk around for a nice, beautiful Parisian evening. Right now I'm in a area of the city close to the catacombs. We actually should be walking right above the catacombs, the tourist destination that is, because the catacombs is actually much bigger than just the area that you're allowed to go into. But I just came out of those catacombs and I massively enjoyed them. So let me know where we're watching from. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist, and let's go for a Paris evening, shall we? So I'm walking through this area right now, and it's reminding me a lot of La Condesa in Mexico City. So this area is going to be a little bit darker. Actually just came out of this beautiful restaurant. It had a nice little penne with salmon. It was really good. It was really nice, basic meal. Kind of really enjoyed it, and a good gigantic Aperol spritz. As I mentioned, a lot of places are pretty good for food, so feel free to just drop into one of them, especially if they have some sort of menu. You usually won't be spending too much. I spent about 21 euro, which was good for a very filling meal and a cocktail. Nomades! Oh, what is this? A bench seat. I like calling them bench seats because they're outdoors, and everything outdoors that's sittable to me is a bench. But look at this one. This is cool. Oh, this might need a good bench test. Let me know if you want a bench test. And we have the train RER passing right behind us. I'll show you a little bit more, but let me know if you want a bench test here in Paris. Nomás dice, hey, testa ese banco. ¿Cómo se dice test en español? Examinar ese banco. Sí, voy a examinar este banco. Going to test this bench. Let's go. Let's test the bench, ladies and gentlemen. Or bench and test. Okay, switching plans. We're testing this bench. This one's covered in bird poo. So points get off right here. Oh my God. No bird poo, okay. That's comfortable. It's very nice. There is bird poo on the other one. It gets a few points minus, but we're covered by beautiful trees here at night. It has a nice ambiance. You get to hear the roar of the railroad pass ever so often. It has a nice slope to its back. Let's sit on it. Ooh, it's perfect lounge chair. Oh, a very perfect lounge chair. The only thing is that there are these ridges over here. These ridges make one's buttocks feel uncomfortable after about like 5 minutes. That's the only downside. You're gonna have a very sleepy buttocks. And it's not because you're napping. It's because of the ridges over here. Let me show you. Yep, these are no good. I don't like these. But otherwise, it has a great slope to it. And it has a beautiful ambiance. So I would give this bench a good. This ends up getting a moderate 7.3 out of 10. 7.3. just because of the ambiance. You need to bring a cushion with you, says Kay. Yeah, I think so. I think a cushion is mandatory with that one. Oh my god, there's a variety of benches here. Here we have these tree branches. Ginny says, where exactly are you? Okay, Ginny, I'm going to send you my coordinates. Hey, I truly don't know. I don't know. I'm right by this railroad stop. Let me show it to you. The RER. Right there. Den frère Rocherou. Den frère Rocherou. Don't know how to pronounce that. You know, I usually get asked by viewers, where am I? Where do I start? And you know what? Usually, I don't even know myself, because I come to a attraction like the catacombs, and to me, knowing exactly where I'm at hasn't always been super important. And what is this? I have no idea what this is. There's barbed wire. Why is it so protected? Is this a prison? No, it can't. Or is this a hospital? Or a governmental building? Ooh, train spotting time! Oh, no, finally, there's lights. Yeah, there was no lights. Oh, now they're turning on. Is that they were off just a few minutes ago. The lights have finally come on. Yahya says this is a hospital. Ooh, thank you so much. And there's an outhouse? Is that an outhouse? I think that might be an outhouse. That's crazy. Wendy says it's been a while. It's been a very, very long time since I've gone live. SEH says, do you ever get lonely while traveling? SEH, that's a great question. Yes, sometimes I do. It depends on the city, and it depends, you know, on day-by-day mood. I would say that if it's a bit more easier to feel lonely in a city that you don't know the language, because you kind of want to chat with people, but it's hard to, because there's a little bit of a language barrier. But also depends on the city in terms of the culture. So in Paris, a lot of people hang out alone. There's a lot of solo people in the cafes. There's either couples, big groups, or people solo. There's a variety of people hanging out in these cafes, bistros, and brasseries. So even drinking or people just reading alone, it's very common. And it's pretty common to kind of strike up a conversation. So French people do know English, especially the younger they are. So it is possible to strike up a conversation here. So Paris is not a city that you're gonna feel too lonely in, unless if you start seeing all the couples in love. That might happen, but otherwise no. Paris is a pretty good city to travel solo. There are other places around the world where there's a language barrier and the culture is too weird to hang out alone. Those places are more difficult to be solo. Kay says, I always end up feeling lonely when I travel solo. Yeah, I would say there's a few ways to remedy that, or at least make it a little bit easier. Sit at the bar. If you're going to a restaurant that has a bar, sit at the bar. Or if you're going to one of these restaurants with terraces here in Paris, go to a very crowded one and sit outside. You're probably gonna be so close to people that a conversation is bound to happen. If there's a big language barrier and you really struggle with French, go to an area where there's a lot of foreigners hanging out. Also, another way is to go to tours. There's food tours, very easy to meet other people who are also traveling. There are nightclub tours or beer bar crawls, and those are very nice to meet other people. I've always met amazing people at bar crawls. Let's check out this station. Macrina says you can always talk with Bob. Ron says, FB just informed me you were live. Oh, I'm glad you got a notification on FB. That's good to hear. So this is the RER stop. Haven't taken the RER yet in this trip. It's necessary to get to, I think, Versailles. Kay says it also depends on the country where it's sitting at the bar. Yes, it does depend on country. Here, it is normal for men and women to sit at the bar. It's normal for men and women to solo dine of any age. Very normal in Paris. It's even easier to solo dine than in New York. So we can go to Robinson, Massy-Palacio, Saint-Rémy. We can go to the airport, Charles de Gaulle. Hey Christine, we call them pub crawls. Yeah, it's pub crawls in UK and the US. Here would just be a bar crawl because they're not pubs. Mark says, we're amazing people. Indeed you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Did get lonely in Seattle. Seattle is a very quiet, sleepy town. So, yeah, Seattle is, it's sleepy. You go out, it's not really easy to meet people in Seattle. So Seattle is a very different culture. That definitely it is. Seattle's not very... It's okay traveling solo, but it's not very engaging. Let's go this way. I see more restaurants. I see a very busy boulevard. ABD says European people will sleep early. I think... No, they don't. ABD, maybe in some countries. Here in Paris, it's pretty late culture. Dinner is between 7 and 10 p.m. So we're close to peak dinner time. It just depends on the area you hang out in. Not every street is going to be super packed with people. And Paris is dense. But even when you compare it to New York, it's even more people. Murad says, are you teaming up with any French YouTubers? You know, I don't know too many. I don't know too many French YouTubers. James Swanson is the only guy I've seen his videos. They're very informative. I know Nathaniel Drew is here. I've been tempted to reach out to him. Cynthia says, which area of Paris this is? This is the 14th Arrondissement. I think it's the 14th. Should be the 14th. We're right by Denfert Rochereau. Stop on the 4-6 line. Wendy says, hope you're okay. I am okay. Yeah. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Cynthia says, is this where you're staying? No, Cynthia, no. Howdy, Gary. Nice to see you here. Ron says, do the French people dress more fashionably? That's a good question. I would say there's two different ways of putting it. You can say fashionable, meaning they're wearing very unique types of clothing, have a unique style. And there's also stylish, which is a bit more timeless, a little bit more not depending on current fashions. And that could be from the older gentleman who wears elegant suits to the women who wear nice dresses. They're stylish and they're fashionable. Here in Paris, you have more stylish. People here are more stylish than in New York. But New York, especially Manhattan, especially Brooklyn, is more fashionable. So you'll see more people wearing crazier stuff in New York and in Brooklyn. But in general, people here are better dressed than New York and many parts of the US. People here get dressed up to go to the grocery store. It's common, I've heard, among women of all ages. They could be 21 or they could be 81 and they'll still get dressed up to go to a grocery store just because. It's very cultural here to do so. I think probably the same thing applies to men. So for example, here in the US, if we were in the US right now strolling around, you'll see a few more people wearing sweatpants, wearing Crocs, as I mentioned many times before. Wearing, you'll see women wearing, overalls. All those things can be classy, but it's hard to make them classy. Generally, they look too casual. Cynthia says, I love Crocs. Nothing wrong with Crocs, but yeah, it is a very casual look. It's understood to be very casual in most parts of the world. But now in the US, you could be at night partying up, drinking cocktails in Crocs, and no one will bat an eye anymore. Oh, this is a nice little street. It's pretty quiet now because a lot of things are closed up. Diaz says, what has changed since you're here? Not much, except for more coffee shops. There's a lot more coffee shops, I've noticed. I also came here in 2019 during August, and it was quiet. August is not a good month to travel here. It's way too quiet, not too many people here at all. So yeah, it's better now because everything is open. Well, of course, we're in an area where there's stores that close at night. There's a lot of boulangeries. Here's a beautiful cafe, look at that. A bistro. Also in France, compared to a place like Greece, the French hang out in smaller groups. So generally any bistro, as we see right behind us, there's only usually 2, 3, 4 people maximum in any given group. Usually groups are less than 4. And of course you'll see a lot of solo diners as well. You don't see that in Greece, for example. So watch my videos from last year. Greece, they tend to hang out in huge groups. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people at a restaurant. So it's very different. That's the cool thing about traveling around the world. You start noticing these differences. But another cool thing in Greece that's different from, like, say, Paris, is that in Greece, if you're dining alone in a restaurant, you do come across people inviting you to dine with them, which you don't encounter in Paris. So every country has something unique about it. And it's good to observe those differences. And it's good to embrace those differences. I've noticed when I have these conversations, some people tend to get very uncomfortable with it. Both in person and in video. They get very uncomfortable. They think, you're judging a culture. It's not about judgment. It's about observation. It's like observing a friend who has an interesting personality. Some friends are a bit more sarcastic. Others are a bit more intellectual. Others are a bit more casual and like to joke around. Everyone has a different personality. Same thing with these countries that you visit. Same thing with cities. They all have different personalities. They're meant to be embraced, not to be shunned, not to be ignored. Cynthia says dating groups is cool. That happens more in Greece. Yeah, I heard that happens a lot in the Nordic countries as well. Here's a Thai restaurant. I love how a lot of the ethnic restaurants also look like any other Parisian cafe or bistro. Wow. Cynthia says, is Paris safe for middle-aged women? Yes, I think so. Everyone here is very calm. As I mentioned, I see people here of all ages on their own. And I see people here walking with ease of all ages and all genders. Something that you don't see maybe in New York, women tend to walk with a little bit more fear, a little bit more anxiety. I've noticed, at least. I've heard from my female friends too. But here, people seem much more at ease. So it really does depend on the city, but Paris strikes me as a very awesome place to travel solo if you are a middle-aged woman. Gary says every group of friends has one personality that disappears into the toilet when it's there around. Indeed. And there are certain cultures that are like that, yeah. Something about the ambiance of yellow lighting, says DS. Yeah, so there was a big controversy a few years ago. Paris was installing LED lights, and the LED lights are white, especially the ones that have been installed in mass in many cities like Los Angeles, New York. They're white. And the problem is that big, super bright white lighting, because LEDs are even brighter than the light bulbs that they had before, ruined the ambiance of Paris. So there was a huge outcry to take away these very harsh white lights. And thus they end up putting either filters or making them yellow LEDs. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but they definitely made them warm. They are indeed LEDs, like these here, but they are warm, not white. Susie says LEDs would be wrong. LEDs are a great power saver and they're easier to maintain, so I think they're for the best. But it's good that they kept it warm as opposed to bright white. So for example, this one's whiter, so it seems like the cover is missing for this one, but this one has the cover, so it's orange, warm. I myself, I don't like white lights, and I wish New York would embrace warm lighting as opposed to pure white LEDs. But you know, there's sometimes white LED privilege, and it kind of sucks. There's birds. Note to self, don't stare at the LED lights because now I'm a bit blinded. Well, so I love that there's a very loud bird somewhere. Trish says, wait, did I miss a bakery video? I did. Yep, I did. I went to the most famous bakery in Paris. Boulangerie. Ooh, un jour à Hamoy. Vietnamese restaurant. Oh, so cool. Lots of Asian restaurants here. Carol says, I send a PayPal. Carol, thank you so much. Carol has been a frequent PayPaler. Everyone, give a round of hearts to Carol. She's so kind for her contributions. Carol, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're enjoying this show. And yeah, thank you so much. Do let me know if you are curious about anything. I'll do my best to show it. Oh, cuisine thaïlandaise. Oh, I love that. I love that there's barely any blaring music here. We're gonna listen to some music, but there's barely music blaring in the streets of Paris, and it's so amazing. I mean, I like my loud music. I come from a culture, Puerto Rico, that blares salsa and merengue and reggaeton everywhere. But it's nice to come to a city where you don't hear too much of this. All right, let me mute. Wendy, thank you so much for becoming a mega urbanist. I appreciate you. Ooh. Ile de la Réunion. Ancien restaurant of Reunion. Ooh, Reunion food. Never had Reunion food. Reunion is one of the territories of France, if I'm correct. Creole rice. Oh, that's nice. Camarón grill. Ooh, grilled shrimps. Avocado and crab. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Hey, Ariel, nice to see you here. Nobu says Reunion has spicy food. Indeed, yeah. Jen, thank you so much for a $5 super chat. Nobu or any of the Parisians and French people tuning in, let me know what is Reunion considered? Is it considered a territory or does it have a different name to it? Let me know. Look at this funky hotel. Hotel Telemanque. Telemanque. I'm pronouncing that maybe a little bit too Italian. Hotel. You don't pronounce the H. Hotel Telemanque. Kami says, everywhere you look is so beautiful. Oh yes, indeed, Kami. Paris is indeed a gorgeous, gorgeous place. Gail, nice to see you here. Welcome. You're not far from the Statue of Liberty, says Nicholas. At the very tip of the island, Swan Island. Oh, am I even close to Swan Island? I don't think so. Or maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I'm walking. I'm just walking. Letting the wind be at my back, even though there's barely any wind in Paris. Here's the post office. Pro tip, post offices have ATMs. I'm not sure what the exchange rate is, but they seem to be safe ATMs to use. Pro tip, don't get run over by a car. Ooh, Gary left the super chat. Hey, Susie says, money for your French onion soup. Oh, thank you so much. I would love to try French onion soup. That would be amazing. And yeah, we are in the quieter part of Paris right now. There are places that are more vibrant on the evening. I mean, today's Tuesday, but I think there's places that are very vibrant. La Marais is probably one of them. There's probably a lot more people in that neighborhood. Chiz Colette. Tapas? What? Tapas. So they have a variety of French with some mix of North African. Thank you, Nobu. That's the official name. It's an overseas department. Thank you so much. And region of France. Thank you so much. Dia says, how has been your wine experience in Paris? You know, I'm not a wine drinker. I had 1 cup of wine thus far. It was at the bartender that I was chatting with, who was a really cool guy. And he really loved wine more than he did cocktails. So I asked him what was his favorite wine, and a very smooth one. And he gave me a wine, I forgot the name, I should have written it down. But the wine was super smooth. It had low tannins. And tannins is usually what I don't like about wine. It's what gives me headaches, or sulfites is what gives me headaches. But this was a very naturally made wine with no preservatives, and oh, it was so delicious. So yeah, I think if you get headaches from wine, I think here you'll be able to wine and dine without getting too much of a headache. Oh, look at this beautiful restaurant. Wow, gorgeous. Macrina says, what is the drinking age in Paris? I think 18. Neilbu says 18, yeah. Earth Paradise says extraordinary live stream. Thank you. My pleasure, Earth Paradise. I'm happy I can show you a beautiful piece of paradise here in the world. Paris. What time is it in Paris? I don't even know. I don't have my watch on me. Let me know what time it is. Susan says, wine I can't do. It's 10:41 p.m. Thank you so much. I'm not sure why Nightbot time code is not working anymore. 10:41. Yeah, so a lot of places are, I think, already stopping to serve food. While there are some places that are open till like 1 a.m., a lot of places stop serving food about 10:30. So we're starting to see a lot of these restaurants that were full just about an hour ago, now starting to empty out. Sky is bright for 10 p.m. Oh, yes. Wait until we go to the Lapland of Finland. Then you're going to see sun at 12 midnight. Cool restaurants here. You know, I was looking at Google Maps, and Google Maps reviews for restaurants here are really low. You know, not really low, but like lower than 4.0, which is shocking as a New Yorker. You know, I wouldn't see that many places lower than 4.0 in New York. But out of all the neighborhoods I've been to, this is one of the few neighborhoods that had a lot of restaurants higher than 4.0. Murad says, ooh, you're going to the Lapland. I'm just teasing. Stay tuned. I'm going somewhere. Could be the Lapland, but could be somewhere else. The price of a dinner in Paris is insane. Great pun, Michael. I like that pun. It's insane. They're not too bad. I had a Aperol Spritz and a big bowl of pasta with salmon, and it cost me 21 euro. Usually it was a little bit more. No, it was 21 euro. 21 euro. Usually a bowl of pasta with salmon or any type of fish would cost $21 on its own in New York, or 21 pounds, or maybe a little bit less, 18 pounds in London, which is almost the equivalent of euro. So here prices are a bit less expensive than London or in New York. And you can potentially eat very cheap. You just gotta know where to go. How do you know where to go? That's a good question. Pay attention to the menu. It's a bit too late to show you, but usually in the front of the restaurants, any type of cafe, bistro, bakery, you'll see the board right over here. This board usually on the bottom would say formule. Let me know how to pronounce it. Formule or menu. Menu does not mean the menu. It means a prefix menu. So you end up getting a choice of entree, which is not the main dish. Entree is the appetizer here in France. So you get entree, plat, which is the main course, and a dessert for so-and-so money. And usually they're very good deals. For good restaurants, I've seen them around 35 euro. 30 euro to 35 euro. Which, considering this is a major tourist destination in one of the biggest cities in the world, or one of the most popular cities in the world, is a good price. But you can go as low as 16, 17, 20 euro for a meal special for lunch or dinner. So try those out. Pay attention to those. And sometimes the deals are so good that even if you were to order them separately on the menu, which would be the carte, is the name in French, is la carte. If you were to order them separately, you'll realize, oh, they're actually giving you a good deal. They're giving you a discount. The E is muted. Formule. The formule. Thank you. Are there stars in the sky? No, a bit too early. Paris probably has too much light pollution to see stars. Uh-oh. We got police? Interesting, police here. Laudu says, have you visited the Eiffel Tower? I showed it at the end of my cruise on the Seine video. Emily says the tip is included. I have not seen tip included. I've seen like a charge of like 1 to 2 euro. I have not seen tip included in my food receipts. When will we have potatoes au gratin? Ooh, I would love to try one of those. That's a very good dish, Susie. Great question. Inspired Life says, love your Paris wanderings. Debbie says, but there could be stars on the chat. Please consider sending them. Thank you, Debbie. Bonjour, bonsoir, Lady O. Emily says you do not require to leave a tip at the bar. Okay, yes, exactly. No tips. I have not been leaving a tip. I only left the tip twice because I got one place they gave me a drink free, and the other place the service was so good that I had to give a tip. Where do you think is the best neighborhood to stay at when you visit, says Cynthia? You know, I don't have extensive experience with all the neighborhoods, so I don't know. But I would encourage you to consider staying close to the center so you don't get too tired out commuting back and forth to the lodging. But if you do want to stay in the area that's a little bit further out, make sure you, if you're staying in an Airbnb, make sure you pick a place that has a room facing the courtyard. Etienne recommends the Marais district. Yeah, the Marais district would be awesome if you were able to stay there. It's very central. But if you're staying in an Airbnb or a hotel, make sure you have a room that does not face the street. Especially if it faces a courtyard, it's very quiet. Robert asks, are you staying in a hotel or Airbnb? This time around, I'm staying in an Airbnb that is a private residence. So it's someone's home that they rent out for Airbnb. Thomas says, what's the biggest difference between New York and Paris? That's a good question. I mean, energy. New York has some crazy energy. Paris is still way calmer than New York. I mean, London has more energy than Paris as well. So that's the cool thing. Paris is not slow by no means. It's not quiet. But it is quite shocking when you start comparing New York to other cities. New York's energy is just huge. Especially in Manhattan, especially in northern Brooklyn, parts of Queens. It's just really in your face, hustle and bustle, quick, loud, lots of stuff going on, lots of different people. Something in Paris that is a lot quieter. I think that's the biggest difference. I mean, look at this. Right here. Right here, look. Do you hear that? Let me know. Do you hear that? What is it here that we don't hear that we would hear in New York? What here at this moment? There's nothing that New York would have. Susie got it right. Susie said, or Suzette, as Susie has asked me to call her in Paris, Suzette says, there's no annoying people. There's no loud, annoying people. No loud, annoying people. There's no crazy person screaming, throwing a tantrum. There's no person trying to beg. And my heart goes out to people who are suffering from terrible ailments, but here, there's none of that. And it is nice. It is nice. No one has screamed at me this entire week. And it feels good. It feels good. You know, in New York, I've gotten desensitized to the screaming and to the cursing and to the tantrums of random individuals in the streets. And here, there's none of that. And no one doing drugs outside as well, which unfortunately in New York, there's more. And other cities like Seattle had that too. So that's the big difference. And then also no loud blaring music from cars passing through. Not that many honking going on. And people tend to speak a little bit lower. That's the big difference. Cynthia says they're more civilized. Civilized is one way you can put it, yeah. Favorite building you've seen thus far in Paris? There's a beautiful Art Nouveau building close to the Eiffel Tower. Might do a TikTok on it. It's gorgeous. I forgot the name, but it is entire, I'm not sure what you would call the typical Parisian building unit, but the entire building that's all designed Art Nouveau. Paris is more chill than London, says Yvonne. Yep, I mean, it depends what you want. All right, who wants to ride the metro? Let me know. Since there's service in the metro, that's a good, cool thing. Let me know if you want to ride the metro. Let's go. Okay. Ronnie says, "Where are we going?" I don't know yet. Okay, so I end up getting the Paris. Is there any pertinent information here? No. I end up getting the Paris Visite, ticket. You can buy it for a few days at a time, 3 or 5. I got the 5-day one for zones 1, 2, 3. So the seats here are very comfortable in the Parisian metro generally, which is really good. And there's plenty of seating. Most of the time I've had seats, which is not the case in New York City. Now, one big difference between this and New York City is in New York City, people would sit next to you. You usually don't have that in New York City. New York City, usually if there's a seat empty and it's really tight quarters, no one's gonna sit next to you. But here they do. Unless if it's rush hour. Then New York is rush hour. Everyone sits everywhere. And Kim says the trains are sweet. They are indeed. And purchase a billet ticket as you have done. And the metro is a no-brainer. Yes. So, one pro tip, if you buy a single ticket, they're going to be this small. They're very easy to lose, so be careful. Make sure you keep this. Always keep your ticket. Because if you don't keep your ticket, sometimes there's ticket collectors. You don't need to swipe out like you have to do in London or in other train metro systems like Washington, D.C. But sometimes there's guys randomly that will check your ticket. So if you have a one-way and just chuck it, which naturally you would do thinking this is so small, you might get a huge fine.
Champs-Élysées, Clémenceau.
Assurez-vous de ne rien oublier à bord. Please make sure you collect all your belongings. Por favor, no olvide recoger.
All right, so we are out, and it's a very easy train system to use. I was quiet because, you know, it's a bit awkward to chat to the camera in the middle of a crowded train, especially in France. People tend to stare a lot more in France than they do in New York. But one thing you can see here is really cool is the doors. Not all lines have this, but a few of them do, and they're very cool safety measure. So they're very good to prevent people, unfortunately, either from accidentally slipping, accidentally throwing something, you know, their iPhone gets chucked to the tracks, and it prevents that, and it prevents from anyone causing harm to themselves. So yeah, that's a good thing. A lot of people, yeah, I think we're in like a late night rush hour. Like everyone's gotten off and done their dinner and going back home. Burger Croissant says some lines have a conductor, others don't. Oh yeah. And someone said, is the line very deep? No, surprisingly, it's not that deep. I think most of the train systems use the cut and cover technique, which means that they dynamited the street and then just dug a hole and built the subway there. Or the metro, I mean. Alright, so sorte means exit. And you can see this is not that deep. Guys, come on. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. You're looking too much into it. Ain't that deep. Life is simple. Oh, we're talking about the metro system. Yeah, the metro system ain't that deep, buddy. Okay, now, there we go. Sorti means exit. This way. Good. Merci beaucoup. La sortie est à... Ok, perfecto. Sí. Oh, oui. Merci. I have no idea what that gentleman said, but he was being helpful, so thank you. Thank you, random gentleman. I think he was saying that there was another exit up there. He was saying that leads to somewhere else. So no jumping the turnstiles here. That would be very difficult. Alien Tower trying to say, all you did is wee. Yeah, we. Oh, look at this. Is this normal for an escalator? Oh, where are we? Oh, we. Look at this. No wonder he was telling us things. Roberto says the new lines are 3 or 4 times deeper. Yeah. I mean, that's the case with newer subway systems and newer metro lines in cities in general. They tend to build them deeper. Susie says we're far from home. Indeed we are. Burger Croissant says I can guide you. I live here. Thank you so much, Burger Croissant. Mr. Dyslexia says don't get robbed. I doubt we'll get robbed in this neighborhood. Because luckily the police is right here. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Debbie. We have a few French speakers tuning in. Thank you so much. He said that the other exit led somewhere else. Yeah. It's very helpful. Thank you. See, French are very helpful. You just gotta know French, but they're very helpful. If you don't know French, just say oui, merci, and that's it. You're done. Where are we? Robert says, fun to explore the streets at night. Gary says lots of Rozzers cars. Is Rozzers a way to say police in Scottish? Yes, there was a lot of police. There was one little mini police. Whoa, what is this? What is this building? Oh my god. Cool statue. It's a petit palais. A small palace. A small palace meant for a short king. And we all know Napoleon was the original short king. Iowa says that's a grand palace. Ooh, a grand palais. Wow. Oh my. Bella says, everyone looks at you like a Paris native. Really? That's why? Yeah. I've been cursed with blending into every single country I go to. In Greece, people think I'm Greek. In Ireland, people think I'm Irish. In England, people think I'm English. In Scotland, people think I'm English. They definitely know I'm not Scottish. In France, they think I'm French. In Mexico, they thought I was Mexican. I think it's time I go to Japan. Really test that to the limits. Dia says it's the mustache. Maybe. Alien Traveler says in the US they think you're Canadian. You know, that does happen to me rather frequently. People do assume I'm Canadian in the US for some reason. Ron says, I'm often mistaken for Chinese in the Philippines or elsewhere, Ron. And yeah, I can imagine a lot of Filipinos. If you're not familiar with Filipinos, it might be an easy mistake. Barrett says, in Hawaii, they'll think you're Hawaiian with those floral shirts. Susie says, but Susie, remember, you're part Scottish. Maybe Susie, yes. Trish says, you don't even look French at all. Trish, you saying how you say don't look French? I am more French than you know. Adam says, I'm part Israeli, but I sound like a New Yorker living in New Jersey. Oh, really? That's funny. Mr. Lucia says, you look Dutch. There we go. I look like every ethnicity. Warner says, what building is this? This is the Grand Palace. It's gorgeous. It's open. I'm not sure what they're doing today here. Probably some events. Alien Traveler says, I look like I just woke up. Okay. Is this the Petit Palais and the other one the Grand Palace? Do let me know. Is this the grand one? Okay, thank you, Iowa. So right here is the Petite. This is the small one. This is the Petite. This is the grand one. Joe says, just put on sunglasses and you can pass off as Asian. You know, the only Asian country I've been told that I kind of look like is Filipino. That's the only Asian countries I've gotten a few times that people say, hey, are you Filipino? Gary says, which window is your bedroom? That's a good question. Where are we? Pat says, hey, I welcome you. Thank you so much, Pat, for tuning in. People here. Cars over here passed when I got the walking sign. Robert says you can pass for Afghan. Yeah, I've heard that a few times. Oh, we're going now back to the Seine. Interesting. Wendy says, Ariel, show us your digs. No, I got mute. Okay, there was someone playing popular Bollywood music. Debbie says, have you rode the double-decker bus? No, I didn't. I didn't have time. Oh! Look what we have here. Oh my God, yes. We see the huge lights of the Eiffel Tower. I love that they have those rotating lights. Miguel says, recently found about urbanists. Love the work. I'm so glad you're tuning in, Miguel. Thank you so much. Miguel says, keep up the excellent work. Will do, Miguel. Straight ahead is Napoleon's tomb. Thank you so much, Iowa. Yes, Napoleon's tomb, Invalides, modeled after the Pantheon. Kind of also looks like our nation's capital as well. Wow. And we also have UFOs popping up now on the sky of Paris. They're flying information right there. Look. Oh, and now they just, oh, there we go. We had a bigger one. Wendy says, wow, are you far from your Airbnb? There's always metro and Uber. That's the cool thing about Paris. Ah, there's a party boat down there. Look at that. Is it illegal to film the Eiffel Tower? Yeah, when it does its light show, it's technically copyright, but I'm not making a movie worth millions of dollars or a documentary that's going to be shown on TV. So it's a bit of a legal gray area. But yes, the light show of the Eiffel Tower is copyright. So if I were a Netflix show filming right now, and I decide to film some B-roll for Emily in Paris season 3, and I shoot the Eiffel Tower's light show, which we haven't seen yet, and I don't pay the copyright fee, the licensing fee, they can sue me. They can sue the production. They probably won't do that for Instagrammers or TikTokers or YouTubers, but they'll do that with major Hollywood films. Pat, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Pont Alexander III Bridge. Alien asks, have you seen Remy from Ratatouille? Nope, I haven't seen Ratatouille. I've seen the rat. Nomades dice, qué hermosa noche. What a beautiful night. Sí, una noche preciosa aquí. It's a beautiful, gorgeous night. Joe says we will chip in for the licensing fee. Oh yes. Oh my god, there's so many spider webs. You can't see them, but they're all around the statuary. Kindness says, what's the temperature? It should be like 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 67. Susie, nice to see you here. Shimmering gold waters. Oh yes, with the golden lights of Paris. We have the shimmering golden waters. That's a beautiful thing about Paris. Wow. The spaces here are huge. Trish says, oh, I just got my Patreon money worth right here. Oh, I'm so happy. Trish, thank you so much for becoming a patron. Trish, I appreciate you. Everyone, round of hearts to all the super urbanists out there that support on Patreon, YouTube memberships, or Facebook supporters. Thank you so much for your contributions. They go a long way to showing you beautiful places in Paris and muting when there is popular music for everybody. See. Maureen says, I love Paris, but I love you more. Oh, Maureen, thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone, a round of hearts for Maureen. give her your best wishes. She is going through some tricky times health-wise, so round of hearts for Maureen, everyone. Maureen, hope you feel better. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad you're enjoying Paris. Wendy says hot chocolate time. You know, that would be nice, but I'm not sure where I get hot chocolate at this time. Yeah, that's Montparnasse. Thank you so much. Iowa says no, Mr. Big was spread off at the other bridge, Pont des Arts. Interesting. Let's see if we can cross over here. Woo, so many cars and trucks. Wow, beautiful. Okay, so let me know if there's something interesting to see in this area. It's super widespread, so it seems like every direction will require a whole lot of walking. Let me know if there's a nearby metro stop as well. And Trish says, I love our community here. I'm so glad, Trish. That's awesome to hear. Pro tip, if you come to these areas, it's very widespread and you don't want to do too much walking. There's scooters everywhere. I can't ride a scooter while holding the gimbal, but there's scooters everywhere. And greetings, says SJ. SJ, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Maureen, Lorraine, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see, when's the next bus? When does the next bus come? Oh, 6 minutes. Let's see where it goes, what direction it goes. Okay, cool. We're gonna take the bus because this one will pass by a few cool places. So, one last stop. We're gonna ride the bus to the center of Paris. So join me as we go on the bus. All we gotta do is wait 5 minutes, it's not that long. And we're gonna see the views along the Seine River as well. So feel free to ask me anything. Can we get a helicopter, says Wendy. No Uber helicopter here, like in New York. You may end up back in England, says Dolores. Yeah, someone earlier mentioned how good the cell phone reception is. I'm surprised how much better the cell phone reception is here than in London. Like here, I'm able to live stream in Metro, walking around, a portion of the museums, some restaurants I had service in, so yeah, I'm able to live stream in many other places. George says, time to ride a boat. Well, I love that. What do the buses look like? You're about to see, Adam. I'm very, very thirsty. I wish there were like water vendors somewhere. All right, let me show you. No, but what carrier am I using? I'm using Free Mobile, which is not free. It cost me $29, €29. Fatima says, where's your hotel located? Patreons will know upon request what Airbnb I stayed at the end of my trip. But only upon request if you're a super urbanist. Otherwise, I'm staying in next destinations. I'll be staying in hotels and Airbnbs that are public, so you'll be able to see them via video. Everyone slam that like button right now. Hey, Renee. Renee says time to give a crepe. Thank you so much for the CLP 1,900. Thank you so much for the Chilean pesos. Ooh, a crepe would be nice. Crepes is something you can find late night here in Paris. Wow, we crossed 500 viewers. That's awesome on YouTube. That's amazing. I haven't crossed 500 viewers in a few months, so that's awesome to hear. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, that's it. So we have Fast and Furious in Paris. Maureen, thank you so much for the stars. And we got 2 minutes. Adam says, are the catacombs worth visiting? In my opinion, yes. It was an awesome experience. It's not accessible at all, so fair warning. But it is an amazing experience. You do have to do quite a bit of walking. I would say the experience is about an hour in total, but it's definitely worth it. Manny, existe Uber aquí en París. Sí, aquí hay Uber y es bien fácil de usar y es seguro. Y también hay taxis. Usa un taxi oficial. So yes, there's Uber and it's easy to use.
Bus 63, direction.
Bonjour. Thank you so much for the 530 stars. Appreciate it. Oh God, thank you so much for 100 stars.
Assemblée nationale.
Warner, thank you so much for the 200 stars.
Merci.
That's why only like 20 years ago, the airplane was created. They got like a flag across the board.
Rue du Bac, René-Char. Saint-Guillaume.
Okay, that was the 63 bus. Tim, is that Tim? Tim Anderson says, can an American in Paris get an Americano in Paris? Yes, Americanos are called Café Allongé, but they only do it with a single shot of espresso. And they're really good, but if you want a Americano, you have to order a Double Allongé. Some places understand it, some places don't actually know what you mean. It really does depend on the cafe. So thank you so much for the $10 super chat. A+ work, Monsieur Ariel, says Tim. Thank you so much, Tim. Camilla says, where are we going? Bus 69 bus. The bus 69 is good for sightseeing. Ah, there it is. That's good to hear. Who's this guy? Dedirot. Who's Dediro? Dediro. Camilla, nice to see you here. Wow. What is that? Susie says Diderot was a French philosopher. Joe says, are there street performers? I haven't seen too many. I've only seen like 3. one guy playing saxophone on his own in one of the metro stops late at night. That was really cool to see. Not for tips, just practicing. Otherwise, I have not seen too many street performers. Martin says, have you felt in a risky situation late at night in Paris? No, Paris has been very safe at night. I felt very calm in Paris. Wendy says, synchronicity again. How so, Wendy? Do let me know. Wow. Paris is just gorgeous at night. Oh my God. Can't get enough of it. Yes, I'm in the neighborhood of Saint Germain here in Paris, right by the number 10 train, Napoleon, at Napoleon. So this is Saint Germain. Janet says, watch out for pickpockets. Yes, indeed. That is more risky in busy tourist destinations. So do mind yourself in busy tourist areas. Wow. All right, everyone, that was a trip through Paris at night. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a huge amount of people tune in today. More than 521 people. That is amazing. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned Thursdays through Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Western European time, 9 a.m. New York City time, 2 p.m. UK. Any old ladies with dogs? There's a lot of Parisians have dogs, but I've not seen what you see in New York, old lady with the tiny little dog in the purse. I've not seen that here in New York City yet. I mean, here in Paris yet. And then Joe says, I think you answered my question before I asked. I knew Ariel was a mind reader. And Lucy says, love you. Class says, merci beaucoup. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome. And camera's running away from me. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Au revoir, mes amis. A bientôt. Bonne soirée.